Hey, Kevin made it. Kevin, how you doing?
I'm fine, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All righty. I was just trying to let the Celine Dion music finish. Uh, but we're still on our book as the business is personal. We're gonna close chapter 10 today, and that leaves us with chapter 11, 12, 13 to go. Three more chapters and we'll be done. The plan is to be done by June, and we'll start our new book, The Good Life, in July, right? So that's the new book, The Good Life. It talks about what the good life is, which is pretty much a life where you're happy, and talk about what it takes to be happy. Comes from a long-time scientific study of people to see what makes them happy. So I long to read it, to being a life coach, talk about how to be happy all the time because you can't be happy always. Uh, but we'll need to finish Bethany's book here. So we're going to close out on chapter 10 today, which is pretty much protecting the realm. It's good that you're here because I'll be hammering words at you. Uh, what it means when it says protecting the realm is pretty much protecting whatever standard you hold yourself to, not compromising, not lowering the standard, uh, you know, letting whoever you are reflecting what you do, and not taking the part of mediocrity, as it were, not taking the part of it doesn't matter. It's being visible in all that you do, and protecting that. So when Bethenny talks about protecting the realm, it's pretty much quality control, protecting what you produce out or what people know you for, So pretty much that's what it is. I'm gonna maybe before I bring up the slides, anything you want to say from all you've heard, all you've been a part of, doing, any takeaway for me? What's your impression on the book? Good book, bad book, something you want us to do differently? Kevin, that's a
I
question.
feel yes, sir. I've it's a good book. From the portions I've read and I've listened to online. It's a good book, and I took out time to read this particular chapter 10. I think last week when it talks
Awesome.
about the line of products she has released, in
Mhm.
that she always want to release what, not just for making money sake, but what she consumes, what she uses herself, and what she is proud of, saying this is my brand and this is what I use and this is what I approve of anytime, not because just want to make money and push it outside, but because this is what represent her. That's the reason why she produces whatever she does not produce. And she made an instance of a line of clothing that was released a time. Was it a line of clothing? Yes. I
It's
think
part
that
of clothing.
yes, that was released a time that did not really match up to what she really wanted, but she felt not okay. She did not really feel okay with that product because it did not really portray the picture of her own essence. So it's a nice book so far. It's really inspiring and it's okay.
Oh, great, great. I'm happy to hear that. That's the same way I feel about it. And I think we've also done a good job from where we used to be, because I've had to go look at the recording we did, the first book we looked at, in this journey. And, I cringed a bit in those recording, but it's been a journey. So we're getting a better handle on how to do this, We just came into the book club, it just came in. I mean, it was first, it was an idea to start a prayer meeting more than 2 years ago, January 2021. Something my wife and myself used to do, and it just felt, wow, be an opportunity to open it up for every other person, It came to my heart and I did it. If I didn't spend time thinking about how it would happen or not happen, I just did it, and this is more than 2 years now. We've been doing that. But at the same time doing that, I just felt about the book club also. Being a life coach, I need to stay in the flow of knowledge, because my edge as a life coach is a function of the freshness of what I'm able to give to people. If all I'm giving is old stuff, something that's not hitting the point with people, that I'm useless, then it'd be like, one of everybody. But to be good at what I do, I need to stay in the stream of knowledge, both from other people and my intuition also. That's what differentiates me, in that line. So it was a good thing for me. It was selfish doing this book club because it forces me to read. My schedule is so tight that it's difficult to finish reading a book. Easy one I do when I drive is I put on an audio tape. I have audiobooks I listen to when I drive. But I don't drive that much because I try to walk. These days, our system doesn't even have CD compartments anymore. Typically, you slot in a CD, So the book club forces me to read, and it's nice in this little one to get the right books, to optimize the time. So this is, in a sense, a selfish approach for me because it's helping me to read. It's also at the same time sharing. When I share also, it's also selfish. The first person that listens to everything I say is myself. So I'm talking to myself, then other people hear it, so that's what it is for me. Great. I'm going to bring up the slides here. I'm going to shoot the last part of this chapter. These are our third time looking at this chapter. I've done an introduction. You were there at the introduction. Then last week we did the first part. Then we'll finish the part today. You can see my slides, right?
Yes, it's sharing. Yes, I can see it now.
All right. So this is the book we're on. This is going to be the next book we're on. Like I said, it started The Good Life. I'm looking at. I'm so excited about it. Every year in November, I alternate between sharing things around gratitude and happiness. I pretty much, November is the last month of the year for me. My year ends 30th of November of every year. That's when I close out the year. So I spend a lot of November talking about happiness, gratitude, and all of that. That's all I do in November, and December for me is preparing for the next year. So December really doesn't belong to any year. All I do in December is prepare for the year coming, So happiness is something I do every year. Happiness, gratitude, I talk about every year in November. So this is something that's close to my heart, So I look forward to learning from the book and sharing from it at the same time. I think it's going to be an exciting time going through the book. I can't wait to do. All right. So taking it from where we stopped, Bethenny gives 6 points from what she's learned on how to protect, how she protects the quality of our product. The first one she says is that you need to make sure that all your partners are on the same page with you and that you are working together to the same goal, and get into your agreement and get your agreement in writing, when there's a contract, so for us as a firm, you're a part of the team, you're a stakeholder. Even our farmers are stakeholders, and we all have to hold that level of quality in working. That's what all we've said about, we need to have the same goals, see the same vision, understand the spirit of the company. The spirit of the company is one of a high quality. We've set up about ourselves a goal of to change lives. But and we mean it. That becomes our focus, that becomes our vision. I put out a quote today which talks about the intentionality is the fuel of masters, because you have to be intentional to become a master at anything, right? And being a master at something means that you have to have a vision, right, of where you want to get to. You have to have a place called dear in front of you. If you don't have a place called dear in front of you, your energy be wasted, right? So that's kind of vision that we have. And I'm happy that we have the kind of farmers that do the kind of work that they do. That falls in line with what we do. I'm happy for you also. You do a good job, So that is why we're still together, because there's no compromise as far as quality is concerned. Steve Maraboli says, I have standards. You're either going to step up to that standard, you're going to step out. There's no middle ground. We're not going to lower our standards. We're not going to lower our goals. We're going to rise up to that standard, or we stop doing what we're doing. Any comment on that?
I totally agree with it. Maintaining the standard is top notch.
Yeah, great. I'm happy to hear that. So Bethenny says, when you enter into any new venture, right, a new sphere, a new place, one that is new to you, you need to understand what is at stake. The small details are important. A new venture for us is going to be the poultry when we're done. First of all, we're building, but as we go into it, it's a new venture altogether for us as we go into it. The Gary used to be a new venture for us. It's not really new for us, but we don't fully have our feet on ground concerning it. So in a sense, it's new to us. As we get our feet on ground to it, it's the same old standard that holds. I mean, if we ever do the starch thing, and if everything that we do, everything that we get ourselves into, I mean, there's a friend of mine that's talking about wanting to do this or that. I mean, if we bring anybody into anything, it's going to still be the same standard. We're not going to go into agreement with anybody that has a lower standard than we do, or anybody that is not willing to change or rise up to the standard that we hold ourselves to. This anonymous quote talks about mediocrity. We always try to drag excellence down to its level, right? That's mediocrity or misery loves company. It loves company, it loves people to come to the same level, as it is. So it's up to us not to allow it. It will always try, because that's what it's known for. We are only going to keep our standards if we don't allow it. It's our job not to allow it, because it's always going to come to try and do that. Right. Yeah. Any comment on that before I move forward?
No, sir.
All right. You're good on that. All right. Something feels wrong. Examine that feeling. Don't sweep it under the rug. I mean, if something is amiss, something feels wrong, don't deceive yourself. Check it out. Because if you don't check it out, they don't come out and bite you. If something is wrong, it's wrong. There's no sentiment around it. You don't wish away reality. Just like our foundation that we could not cast. It's not plumb, it's not plumb. There are no two ways around it. It's not something we don't pray about it. It's a reality, it's a physical reality. We need to address it. It's not praying, it's not wishing it away. We need to address it. It's our present reality, and it's only going to change if we address it. It's not something to cry over that we spend so much money. We have, but we could have wasted all that money if we had gone ahead and not caught it. So we're grateful to God that we caught it, so we caught it to be able to address it, so that we don't spend more money than in the wrong direction. So if something smells wrong, take 2 steps backward, look at it, find out what the issue is and address it. If it smells like a rat, it most probably is one. So address the rat, rather than leaving with the smell, deceiving yourself. There's no rat, right? Number 4, it says, do the right thing because your reputation and integrity are on the line, right? I mean, people don't know what we do. What they see is the result, right? It doesn't matter the Gary, how you produce your Gary, it's when they taste it that they know that it's different and it's a high quality, and I love the feedbacks I've gotten so far, from every market we've sent it to. It's not just being able to get the right people, in those markets to have a continuity. What we produce is top quality. Is now just working to get the right remuneration for what we do. That is what is the difference on ground. And we'll get there. I mean, we won't give up until we get there, It's only a matter of time, but we'll get there, So it's pretending everything is okay makes the problem only worse, right? If you don't address it, you keep patching and patching, We have corporations that have gone aground because they did not address the issue. They see a problem, but they look away and it only gets worse. A problem you don't address only gets worse, Number 5, she says, one small problem can get big quickly. It's not, if it's not addressed immediately, a small crack can become a crater, and we see that. All right, number 6, the last one. She says that we should be willing to take short-term loss if the product or idea is not executed correctly, which was the clothing example that you made mention of. I mean, we'd rather take losses, than patching things. We'll rather do it right, or not do it at all. That's why we've taken all the time to do what we're doing. I mean, we could have been done with the poultry if we wanted to do just something, but wanted to do it right, so we're given the time it takes to do it right and the fun it takes to do it right, because we have a standard that we're holding ourselves to, So we're not in need to win the short term, we're in need to win the long term. It's not just to get it done today and we stop tomorrow. It's that we're going to be in it for time immemorial. We're in for the long term, not the short term. So we're not in a hurry. We're taking our time to do it right. Right. So some of the words that come from that chapter, she talks about taking responsibility for your decisions, a core behavior for protecting the ram. Every decision we make, we need to stay behind it. Not every decision we make will give us the result that we want, but we need to be responsible for that decision. If it's correct, we'll learn from it. We'll be able to teach other people the way we did it. If it's wrong, we'll take responsibility for it. We're there to guide other people not to do that. So we're learning, with this foundation thing, we're learning from the seasonal price of Gary, we're learning from that. All of that is for learning. It's not to point accusing fingers to anybody or to any place. We're learning from every incident, every decision that we'll make, so we hold ourselves responsible for each one. Right. She says at the end of the day, it's not on you to decide how you want your business to run. No. I mean, it's on you. Let me read that again. At the end of the day, it's on you to decide how you want your business to run, what kind of quality you want to offer, which is what we're saying. We have decided to be the high quality. All right. It's up to us to take ownership of decisions that we make, right? So protecting the realm is up to you, she says. You can have people help and advise you, but only you can ensure integrity of your brand, personal integrity, and your personal dignity. Those things are not for grabs, So we're not outsourcing the integrity, the quality that we want, So that's why we're listening to the bricklayer, but we made the decision. We're listening to all the experts, but the final decision is ours because we are responsible for the final product. Right. Any question for me before I go on?
Okay, it's clear, sir. Following.
Yeah. All right. She says knowing the context is vital when making decisions. So when we're making decisions, it's always good to know the context. Now we're going into things that we don't know everything about. We're going to go into the palm kernel place after we're done with this plantain now. The ones that did at first didn't work. We're hoping this one would work because it's working on someone else's farm, So we're limited to what we know, and we'll try and do this as best as we can. We'll try and do the palm kernel as best as we can. We're doing the beans because the old farmers tried it out and it worked. So we're following after that counsel to do something in that wise, So same thing will go with the pepper, hopefully for the greenhouse also, depending on what my wife learns and what they are doing on their side, that we'll learn, and based on our knowledge, learning, we'll make decisions and we grow along, So Betty says, I'm the one who has to live with the decisions I make. We all have to live with the decisions we'll make. So that's why we have to have the final say, in what that decision is. Because irrespective of the outcome, you cannot blame anybody. See, if I make a decision, I cannot say it's Kevin, right? When I make a decision, I have my full weight behind it, irrespective of whether it works or it doesn't work. So that's why I ask the questions I ask, because then I take full responsibility for it. So you need to know what you know. You need to know what you don't know. Then ask questions, right? Let your words back up. Let your actions back up your talk, And this is the last slide here. She says consensus is not necessary for decisions that affect your bottom line. So it's not a democracy, it's a democracy, when we make decisions, It's not a matter of how many votes for it or how many votes against that. We need to make decisions that fall in line with who we are. That's the bottom line, right? That's the bottom line. And that's the bottom line, right? We don't necessarily have to get everybody's buy-in to what we want to do or not do, but that we do things that are in line with our vision. Yeah. So that's all I'm going to say there. There are two quotes I brought out of there. Let me run through those two quotes and I'll open up if you have any question. And she said, the energy from walking away when your gut tells you to is so truthful that other things come. If you have a gut feeling against something that is not the way to go, when you do that, it opens up new opportunities for you. You don't force yourself along a path that something inside of you is saying is not the way to go. You need to respect your intuition, And she says, you make room for better decisions when you are in stock in negative energy and you receive a flow of new energy, right? So when you make decisions, Anthony Robbins, defined decision is pretty much cutting away. You're cutting away yourself from something and you're cutting yourself into something, You're pretty much saying this is not the way. You're taking it off. Most times when we don't make decisions, we're holding on too tightly to the hold that the new cannot come. Can imagine a woman who is engaged to someone she doesn't want to marry, but she's patching up things. For as long as she's patching up things, the person she really needs to marry will not come or will not propose because he thinks that she's already engaged. Such is life. When you let go of the old that does not work with you, you open the door, create opportunity for that which is yours, That really is all of the meaning of that chapter, closes the chapter up, except you have any question along the line. Any question?
For now, it seems clear to me. I don't have a question for now.
Awesome. Anything you want to elaborate in all I've said?
What I want to say is just to reaffirm the truth in what she has said. It's although it's not easy, persons might begin to tag you as not listening when you tend to stick to your own or want to do it in a particular way. They tend not to agree with the whole thing or the particular way you want to do it. It feels like every other person is doing all of these things. Why are you holding on to this particular way? The majority will not be happy with the way things are going because you decide to do it this particular way. But it just, like you said, it takes resilience, and it takes one to decide on this, and this is what I want to do, to keep at it. Else the voices around might want to discourage at any point. But like she has said, you have to own on to that choice. You have to, everything if it's running well, it comes back to me. If it's not running well, it comes back to me. I live with the decision of what choices I make at the end. So that's just.
Yeah, that's important. That's important. I agree. Agree. I used to have. I'm everywhere I find myself. I happen to be different because I'm not one that follows the head mentality. Most people, when they get to a place, they follow what the popular voice is and stop thinking. I'm against that. I don't do that. I used to be in a pastoral board that we used to talk as pastors and be against a particular point that the head pastor is going in line with. And we've all talked and said, this is not the way, this is not the way. But when the pastor comes in, everybody goes and more like they're praising what the pastor is saying, which is different from what we said before the pastor came. And I'm the lone voice staying with what we had said before the pastor came. And it was more like I was a rebel, that's just me. And it's one of the things I learned from Papa again, and not being an hypocrite, and that stood with me. If I believe in a thing, I'm going to stand by it. Yeah, it's not always funny. It's not the easiest choice to take. Because when you fail, everybody's like, we told you. And that's always big in my heart, because when I stand in a place where I'm a loner, it's almost like it crosses my heart. Because when I fail, everybody's like, we told you. So I kind of put in extra energy, try not to fail. Everybody's looking at you, but it's been years. I've come through this as years. Today, I'm more at home with it today. I haven't been. It's now a part of my life, But that's the story of my life, and that's the story of the life of any entrepreneur who has a goal for the best. Yeah, who has a goal for the top, getting to the top the right way. There are ways in which if you want to compromise, you don't have to. But if you're going to go to the top the right way, you will stand out, because that's why everybody's not rich. That's what differentiates the 2% from the 98%. That's why so if you're going to be in the 2%, you cannot be thinking like the 98%. All right. So it's all good. It's all good. All right. We're going to end here. I'm going to shut off the sharing.